Hi, my name is Brittany Swinger, and I'm going to be telling you about what it means to have missions as a career. Okay, 4.5 billion people. That's the number that David Platt gives in his book Radical, talking about the number of people that don't know Jesus. 4.5 billion people. They're lost and broken and empty in this dark world. But when you think about it, like, who is going to shine a light in their lives? Like, who is going to bring the news to them and the gospel to them? In the summer of 2010, I went to Italy for a month on a mission trip, and it was really awesome. I just saw God changing lives and moving the lives of Italians and then my team, and that is when God started really pouring into my life, like what it means to be called and to want to go out and serve Him, and that's when I started to feel called to full-time ministry. Isaiah 6 says, "Whom shall I send and who will go for me?" And Isaiah responds of, "Here am I, send me." The person who responds that way and says, "Here am I, send me," is setting out on a journey to, in this missions career, to change lives and to shine God's light in this darkness of the world. Thinking about the concept of the whole world, like the entire world, those 4.5 billion people who don't know Jesus, that's like really an overwhelming thought, because there's so many people and there's just one of us and we're just ordinary people. And so there's many questions and many concerns, and questions like, what is missions? How will I fund life as a missionary or gain support? And how can I be used by God to impact these people, me? And I'll answer these questions as we go on a little bit. This is a map of the world, except the light blue represents other Christian like religions. The dark blue represents evangelical Christians, and the gray represents non-Christians. And as you can see, there's a lot of gray on this map that represents all those people who don't know the Lord. And as Christians, this should be breaking our hearts because we realize there are so many people who don't know the Lord. So what is missions? It's a verb, really, and it means just go. The Great Commission, Matthew 28:19, talks about go into all the world and make disciples of all nations. And David Mathis, he wrote the book Finish the Mission, and he's talking about the goal of missions, and it's worldwide worship of God, the redeemed people, like the people who He's called out of the darkness of just worshiping Him. And that should be the goal and our primary concern in fueling missions. Unlike regular careers that get salaries and or hourly wages, missionaries actually have to raise their own money to go overseas and to set out on this job. And this brings a lot of uncertainty and questions and concerns, because how are you going to raise your family? But at the same time, there's comfort in knowing that we can trust in God as our provider. Betty Barnett, she talks about her missions experience, saying, "I could easily have missed many facets of God's unsearchable ways had I been receiving a predictable amount of money each month." And that's kind of, if we were so concerned about the money we're getting, we can't really focus on like our main mission and our main priority in our job, so to speak. And Ephesians 3:20 says, "Now to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than we can ask and imagine." And if we're so consumed in bringing the word to people, that He will provide for us, and we have to trust that. But you may say, like, how can God use me? Because I'm just a person. John Ortberg says, he wrote the book, If You Want to Walk on the Water, Step Out of the Boat. And he says, God is a surprisingly resourceful person, the Lord of the gift. He can take what you have to offer and make a difference that matters for eternity. And it kind of reminds me of Moses in Exodus when he kept complaining and arguing with God, like, I can't do this, like, I'm unqualified. But at the same time, God doesn't call the equipped, He equips the called. And to become a missionary, it's an action, and you're taking the truth and the love and the hope to the world. And doubt and questions may arise, but with your unwavering faith and like trust in God to provide for you and to protect you, you're going to be allowed to do incredible things for the kingdom, incredible things that matters. And so as you consider a future career, I urge you to pray about if you would ever consider going overseas and even doing short-term or long-term missions as your career. because Matthew 9:37 through 38 talks about how the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. So I just challenge you, would you be one to change that number? Thank you. Oh my gosh. Let's hit the screen. No. I'm gonna cry.
If it froze up, it just froze up. So
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Okay then.
Oh. It's so
You have to hold it, Sarah.